Okay, let me welcome all of you to another one of our Insights and Updates training. It is Thursday, September 26th, 2024, and it's an exciting time for us. We've got so much going on, so many moving parts that are, kind of gearing up and falling into place. So we just watched a short video, the hashtag Real Talk video on, my YouTube channel. And it kind of got into the point where it's explaining that relationships is where we need to put our attention. Transactions don't really work out. Okay. Now, when you look at a person at a job, that is a transaction. Okay. They're basically exchanging their time, talent, and effort for money, right? It's kind of a one-to-one agreement, right? Here's kind of the value of what you're going to bring to the table with your time, talent, and effort. And here's the money you're going to get. And if you're fortunate, you're getting an exact, match on the value there. Unfortunately, some aren't able to get an exact match. Some are getting much less, right? And then, of course, that's coming in the form of income. Income is taxed. Now you end up with much less after the taxation than the real value there. So that's where people fall behind. Then factor in the inflation, and then now they're really falling behind because inflation is just it's like a creep in the night. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger as each month passes, each year passes. And with all the excessive quantitative easing, money printing going on, we know the purchasing power of paper money is just falling off a cliff. So that whole idea, that transaction that people do in the job market, it's a guaranteed way to basically be going backwards. Okay. The minute you agree to some sort of a salary or whatever at a job, you start to lose value every passing month, every passing year, as a result of the inflation, because no job is going to keep up with the kind of inflation we're facing today. And I know, you got government agencies telling you the inflation is under control, it's all good, but they're using very selective data points in order to measure inflation, and they don't factor in what the common man or woman is doing out there when it comes to what they're buying and looking at those numbers. Because if they were, they'd have to present a much higher number as to what inflation actually is. There are websites so you can go see what true inflation is. So, you can go Google those and find them. There's plenty of them. Tell you what's really happening, because you can't trust what the government's going to tell you. Right, guys? You guys agree with that?
Right. I agree.
Yeah.
Anybody trust the statistical analysis of the government at all? Anybody trust that?
No.
No, no.
You
Nah.
know, they
No.
okay. So you're not alone. Everybody feels that way. Everybody knows it's, the jig is up. We all know what's going on. But most people haven't figured out that their job is a form of transaction. Some people are still thinking the job represents some sort of security. Well, if everything would just stay the same, maybe it would be secure, right? But we're not in a world where everything stays the same, right, guys?
Right.
Okay.
Correct.
Correct.
So since we're in a fast evolving world, and we've got technology kind of coming in leaps and bounds, making huge strides in reducing the costs. And whenever companies reducing costs, it usually means staff reduction, right? When companies reduce costs, they're spending more on technology and less on people, and even finding that they don't need certain people after certain technologies are implemented. You know, my biggest concern right now are white collar people. I think the white collar people are going to be affected the most in the next coming years, in the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. White collar jobs are going to be eliminated because AI can actually do 100 people's jobs, 1,000 people's jobs at the white collar level. It's just a matter of training the AI to do it, and it's getting smarter and smarter. So that's the deal. That just means less white collar jobs. Um, The ones that are in the blue collar, the ones that get their hands dirty, get down in the dirt or get into the machinery of something or the electronics or whatever, they've got a better shot, but those tend to be the lower paying jobs, right? So, and then you have the service industry, and as mentioned in that video, picture that the entire staff of a fast food restaurant being replaced by basically a little mini factory of robots making fast food, and people drive up or whatever and pick up their food, and there was no human involvement in making that food for them. Crazy, right? But that's kind of where things are heading, and that trend will probably take off. So, the service industries are going to be impacted greatly as well. Well, we don't see that as necessarily a bad thing, do we? We see it as like, okay, this is just this is what progress looks like. It's disruptive. It is can be a challenge for people that don't pay attention, don't keep an open mind as to what their options might be. And people that are stuck in the industrial age or the industrial revolution way of thinking of you need to have a job in order to have a life. It's going to become more and more clear that plan just won't work anymore. We're in a different age. We entered the information age a long time ago. Yeah, we're in a way different time right now. So I think we need to rethink everything. I think we need to think what it is to be human, because I think we've accepted this idea for far too long that to be human is to be, some sort of laborer. You got to go out there and by the sweat of your brow, you're going to carve out a life, and frankly, with the technologies coming in, that's no longer true, um, and so why don't we look at the human being a little bit different than a workhorse, right? We can just change our mind about that, and basically accept the idea that putting our like the majority of our attention on the idea of pursuing gathering an income, right? That's going to be inflated away and taxed to death. Okay. Instead of looking at it like that, why can't we look at it like where the human being is a multidimensional being that can do far more than just be a workhorse, and maybe we should be expressing ourselves in greater ways. And I'm really excited about what that will turn into. I'm excited about um, how civilization and society and even at the individual level, how everything's going to change in a very positive way by embracing the idea that we don't need to put all our time and energy and effort into the pursuit of money, when actually money can just be a something that flows into our lives, like what we're creating here with pool funding. The whole point of pool funding is through a handful of relationships, we establish ourselves as on the ground of being qualified to receive a continuous daily flow of positive cash flow. Okay, without having to do the work over and over again. Do the work once, get paid for it over and over again. That's much better. And and once people start to see that those relationships are really the key to that for them at the individual level. Okay. Now I'm also looking at this, at the point of the whole, right? The body. Okay. Whereas those little teams, like one person getting a team of four, that's more something at the cellular level. Okay. But when I look at the body of what we're doing, the body is the strength of our body in pool funding depends really on how many members we have, because our system is all built on timers, where everybody's on timer. We all have like a little 1 or 2 minute daily activity to do to help circulation of funds. And that creates like enough energy to create the ability to pump money out of the market. And this is long past the proof of concept stage. We've established that it works, and it's scalable. Okay. So it's just a matter of the whole body getting bigger and bigger and stronger and stronger, bigger and stronger. And as the sheer number of us in the members, as that number grows, then at some point we'll have the point where we'll be able to pull so much money out of the market that it's going to be in far excess of what anybody might have ever contributed. Okay. And that's where leverage comes in. We can take a small amount and end up with a great amount. Okay. That's leverage. And that's what we're building. That's what we're on to. But it comes down to relationships. So when a person comes into your team, this is a very important moment. Each person that joins your team, and especially if they're a direct referral, okay, to you, they're going to need time from you to help them really be clear what is pool funding. Because not everybody that goes to the website or comes to a training or whatever, go to the YouTube channel, not everybody is actually going to get it. They don't maybe understand what we are. And, there's a lot of angles that I try to, here's what we are from this angle, here's what we are from this angle, here's what we are from this angle. And if you hang around long enough, you you start to see that nexus point where all those angles come together to form one idea, and that is pool funding. Okay. And so this is why you need to spend time helping them to understand that and help them to understand the value of relationships, that it's not about transactions, it's relationships. And as they, interact with you as a sponsor, in turn, their referrals are going to interact with them as them being the sponsor over their referrals. Okay. And there's the real karma attached to that. As you treat your sponsor, you can expect to be treated likewise by your referrals. Okay. So we want to make sure we give, the highest level of, care and love towards our sponsor, and understanding and willingness to work with and collaboration with our sponsor, so that in turn our referrals will in kind treat us the same way. Okay. So do unto your sponsor as you want your referrals to do unto you. You can write that one down, guys. I just put that out there. That's a good one. All right. So at some point they'll get it. Your 4 referrals, they'll get it. Maybe it will be 8 referrals, maybe it'll be 12 referrals. Okay. But regardless of how many there are, if you have at least 4, you have enough to work with to get yourself up to that top pool, the $1,000 pool, and be bringing in $1 million a year in funding. You don't have to pay it back because the system just provides it, right? It's a system. It's a system that provides and is made by we the people, right? So it's not something coming with a top-down authoritarian, with mandates and commandments and laws and, like do this or else, kind of a thing. It's more like people working with each other, people cooperating with each other, people understanding that we're better off helping each other than to compete with one another. Does that make sense, guys?
Yes.
It's not so much about a competition here. It's about helping one another, loving one another. In fact, I think our overall, main purpose of why we're even here is just so we can learn how to love and express love in, every possible way possible. And I think that's what the point is of this whole earthly journey, that we're on, is to elevate and expand on that point. And I think we've come a long ways. I think we're ready for the next golden age. Okay, and I'd like to be a part of ushering in the next golden age for mankind. How about you? Would you guys like to be a part of that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Okay.
Get her done.
That's the guy from Idaho, by the way. All right. Anyway, so it's an exciting thing that we're doing, and if we just learn to treat each other the right way. One of the sad things that I've seen in team building, as I've been involved with team building most of my life, is how much neglect and how much disinterest there is in helping people. Like a person will be, all excited to join a person on an opportunity, and then the person that invited them into that opportunity, as soon as the sign up is done, it's like they disappear on you. Have you guys ever seen that before?
Yeah.
Mm.
Absolutely.
Okay. That ain't right. That ain't right. That's
Always that way.
that's transaction mentality right there. Okay. Well, transaction complete, move on to the next transaction, right? Relationship building is making sure that you spend enough time talking with people that you feel like they know that you understand what they're saying when they speak to you. Okay. That you get where they're coming from, and that you may not necessarily have to agree with what they're saying, but at least you can show that you comprehend their point of view, and you can see it from their point of view, and maybe and you can offer some additional insights based on the length of time you've been with pool funding, as to maybe a way to modify that perspective to be in a more positive zone. Okay. You just have to measure things in positive and negative terms. We detest the negative and we embrace and love the positive. Okay. And that's how we have to approach the relationships. Okay. So if there's a party within a relationship that's kind of on the negative side of things, with care and love, see if you can help them, bring that negativity down, calm them down, whatever, and just, and then reinforce it with some positive energy of some kind. Okay. And I think in here, that'll be your best guide, more than what I could tell you. If you go inside and ask, how can I help, my referral understand better? I think the answer will come from within, because from here, we're connected to, like I said, we're multidimensional. I could go off on that tangent if I wanted to, but not today. So each of you have the same thing I got. It's on the inside of you. Okay. It's identical. If we want to give it a name, we'll call it the only self. Okay. We all participate in something called the only self. Okay. There's one self, and we're all connected to it. And we may not really be aware of it. And we get so distracted with our own little egos or the other thing. But that only self has the best, wisdom. It knows everything, so it's the best guide. And when it's love centered, that's when you're on track with with whatever advice you might be giving, or whatever guidance or assistance you might offer to your referrals and to your team below your referrals. Okay. When we put relationships, when we become known for how strong the relationships are within pool funding, when we become known for that, it'll be like the beacon of light we're all looking for. Okay. Everybody's looking for that beacon of light. Well, it's going to be found in the relationship. It's not going to be found in the transaction. It's going to be found in the relationships of love. Okay. So that's how you maintain relationships, and that's how you grow. And the idea is you get everybody on board with this. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Everybody gets on board with the idea of scaling. Okay, when everybody understands this is what we're doing, okay, in a nutshell, this is our concept here. This is the ultimate leverage that we offer. That you're not stuck in just one degree, but you can actually go from one pool to the next, and you can scale your way up. And every time you scale, it's a 10 times move, right? $1 to $10, that's a 10x. $10 to $100, that's a 10x. So you accumulate enough to be able to migrate and move up into these upper pools. You end up in this $1,000 pool. I believe this entire pathway can be done in a year. Okay. But we're working on some of the key elements that we need to add to it when it comes to like lead generation and all that. That we're working on that over here on the side, okay, as a way to boost people that may be lacking in that area and really need that. But that's not going to be our focal point. Okay. That's still kind of, if you want to look at it in just the simplest terms, that's still kind of transactionary. Okay. So the key is get a relationship, build a relationship, and you have a relationship when the element of trust is embedded in it. Okay. If there's any level of distrust or lack of trust, that's a relationship that needs work. Okay. Otherwise, it's going to fall apart. Would you guys agree with that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because let's say you get a relationship with someone that came from a lead. Okay. They don't know you, right? You've got to kind of make some headway as quickly as you can to let them know that you're someone that they can trust. Would you agree with me on that?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
If your intent is not to establish trust, but if your intent is to, rule over them or, to be some sort of like a, you know, know-it-all or something like, you know, where it becomes quite apparent by the way you interact that your self-interest is greater than, your interest in the whole, okay, and including them as being part of the whole.
Oh, shit.
So, when that becomes apparent to them, they're not going to trust you for good reason. So you have to check with yourself and make yourself trustworthy first. Okay. You have to actually care as much about other people as you do for yourself. In fact, you got to look at them almost like an extension of yourself, right? I mean, you wouldn't go around hurting yourself or taking advantage of yourself in any way if you really understood that's what you're doing. And when we start to see other people as just an extension of ourselves, okay, I call it the hall of mirrors. Okay, when it's just an extension of yourself, then you want to bring about the most kindness. You want to be caring, and those things should be on the surface. They should be apparent. Okay, when you're dealing with a team of people, and if that's you, then you're going to have no problem. It's going to be easy, so easy for you to have solid relationships that you can rely on to go and scale your way all the way up into that $1,000 pool. Okay. So we need to put our minds in that area, put our hearts there, and make our effort match up to that. Okay. There should be it should synchronize. And that way, once you have 4 people, you can just have this great deal of gratitude, knowing that you've got solid positive cash flow. You have cash flow with 2, but 4 is way more cash flow than 2, right? And 8 even more, right? 12 even more. And we're in the early stages, so all that low-hanging fruit's there. So I expect many of you won't stop at 4. You'll see the value of going all the way to a little bit more than that. You know what I'm saying? But down the road, when people join us, they won't need to get more than 4 people because it'll be enough. Most people think $1 million a year is enough, and that's fine. Okay. And at some point there's going to be a frenzy, and yeah, just finding someone that hasn't joined already, it'll be kind of one of those things, and just getting those 4 people. People can be like, because that's it. That's the number. But at the end of the day, go further into the future on this. Some people will end up with 2 solid people able to navigate and move up to the highest pools only on 2, because the system's working so well. It allows people to take just 2 people all the way through to each pool. Well, that's $30,000 a month. That's $360,000 a year. Ain't bad. You know what I'm saying? Most of you could probably cut back and manage on that, right? $360,000 a year, right? So there you go. Pool funding is not about having an overwhelming number of relationships. It's about having solid relationships. And when you have solid relationships, then you're going to have more peace of mind as you're building and growing your team. What are your guys' thoughts on all of that? I kind of dug in deep there. I hope it resonated.
Absolutely.
Did I succeed? So absolutely, Hunter. Why do you say absolutely? What's resonating right now with you? I noticed a little symbol in the background. You got a little symbol in the background. It's kind of the unity symbol, right?
Yeah. Yeah, the unity symbol, the international flag of planet Earth, and I could go on a whole tangent about that, but I was actually planning on going on another tangent after we stopped the recording. But pretty much the entirety of it is resonating with me. I'm sure it's resonating with a lot of people here because we really need to see that connection if we're going to survive as a species. Quite frankly, it's sort of like that video with people sharing the spoons and sharing the soup with each other because that's where we're headed. That's where we need to head if we are to evolve as a species.
Absolutely. So the interesting thing, if you get really deep into the quantum mechanics of reality, there's no such thing as time or space. Both of them are just, a creation of consciousness. But so basically, past, present, and future are all coexist in the same single moment. Call it a singularity, and then that singularity just kind of morphs into other things, but it spits out what you call timelines. But there's a solid timeline that has been forming for quite a while now, that in that future, humanity has graduated. Humanity has succeeded at the great goal of unity, oneness, and that's the timeline I'm seeking to be a part of. Each of us as individuals got to make choices as to how we're going to spend our life and which timeline we're going to end up being on, because you can be on different timelines, even though you feel like you're occupying the same, space-time continuum. We're not. We're not in the same space-time continuum. We each have our own continuum, and we're interacting with each other. It's a lot like that symbol behind him. Each sphere is its own continuum, interacting with others, right? But anyway, most people think that it's just one continuum, and it's not. Okay. Some people call it the multiverse, whatever. But there's different timelines. So the choices you make matter. Positive, negative, good, bad. Love, fear. These are choices that we make. And you got to be more conscious of the choice you make and make sure that you're choosing the higher version that benefits you. Right? At the end of the day, why choose something that doesn't benefit you? Choose that which is going to bring the greatest benefit. Love will always be better than fear. Fear is not a good protector. It presents itself as a form of protection, but it's not. It will let you down every time. Okay. Love, on the other hand, is a better protector. And that may not be so clear to someone that can't quite see it. But eventually, if you experience enough of both and you see the contrast between the two, you'll start to see that love actually is stronger. It's a better protector. It's a better guide. It is a better, way shower than fear. Fear will contract you. Love will expand you. Okay. And in that expansion is you have you just have more. Okay, I don't know how to put it. Some of these things that are in my mind, I'd have a hard time putting them into words, but they're there. I'm tapped into something there is difficult to put into words, but it comes from here. That's where it's at. You got to go in to win, guys. Never forget that. You got to go in to win. You want to win? Go here. It's not out here. It's here. That's where you win. Out here, if you get a lot of money and all that, great. But at the end of the day, if this is messed up, that will, whatever, it'll be fleeting. Okay. Happiness, fortune, those things will be fleeting. Okay. If you want something that's, going to be more on a constant, right here, succeed here on the inside. Relationship starts with a relationship of yourself. Be forgiving of oneself. Be kind to oneself. Be generous with oneself. Right? Give what as much as you can to yourself, that you would hope that others would in turn give back, to you as well. And then as that being the example, then also express it by giving to others. And it's all about the giver's gain principle. It ain't about being the sacrificial lamb. Okay. It's about being the light. Okay. That's what it is. Be the light, not the sacrifice. There are times where sacrifice makes sense, but too many people think that that's the nature of love, and it's not. It's so much more than that. You know, you don't have to sometimes make a choice where where something has to lose. Always look for the options where everybody gets to win. Okay, don't look at the deals where like someone has to lose in order for someone to win. Those opportunities are more transactional, right? They're they're not going to have staying power, right? And they're going to create distrust, right? But where you have an opportunity where you get a win, I get a win, and we come out together ahead, both of us come out ahead together, that actually creates trust. We can build on that and grow it. All right. Anybody else want to make a contribution today? Anybody else want to share their thoughts? Am I triggering anybody in any special way? No? Okay. Did I go too deep? Or maybe I went too deep today. I'm sorry.
Not at all. Not at all.
No,
Okay.
Ace, you always
we
have
appre-
good insight. It's,
Alright.
Ace, we appreciate your deepness.
you
All
bet.
right. Okay. All right. I worry sometimes that you know, yeah, I'm different, okay? But not in necessarily a better way, but just in a different way. I'm just looking at things that yeah, it's just different. I've been through it. I've been that guy behind the car in the rush hour traffic, regular Joe. I know exactly what regular Joe's thinking, what the frustrations that regular Joe's dealing with. I was there, man, for like 40 years. Just I got my fill of it. Yeah, I had enough of it, you know. And then I said, there's got to be more. And there is, and there was, and it changed things for me. And so we're each on that hero's journey, by the way. All of us are. So each one of us get to be the hero in our own story. And think of yourself that way. Think of yourself as the hero in your story and build relationships around the idea that, you look for opportunities to serve, not to take. You look for opportunities to give, not to, ask for payment, you know. You know, it's not, again, not down to the point of sacrifice, but to the point of like you understand that the rewards will come back tenfold, right? I have a strong belief. I call it the 10 times rule. Maybe you guys will embrace this, maybe you won't, but here's my rule. Whatever I give, I expect 10 times to come back, and I expect the universe to deliver in short order. Okay. I have that belief in the universe, not necessarily people, but I have it in the universe that, that whatever the universe is going to provide me 10 times whatever I've given. And that's how I've been able to kind of leap and leap, not just, just crawl my way or, climb my way slowly up some, success ladder, So, yeah. What you can do is so much more than maybe you give yourself credit for. So when it comes to relationships, understand for solid, and I mean solid relationships, like they're going to be die hard with you. They're not going to quit. They're not going to give up. They're not going to let a bad week or two or a bad month or two get in the way of their commitment to stick with it and keep going and hang in there during the challenges and the difficult times, right? The universe does ask you to pay a price. Okay. If you want something, you gotta pay for it. Okay. And so I'm just telling you, you can pay with love, right? And we got unlimited quantities of that. Dig deep, find it. You'll find it's unlimited because it comes through that only self, right? From the only self, you have unlimited quantities of love, never ending, eternal. And from there, you can pull out and just, express it and put it out there, and you'll end up with those relationships that you want. Okay. And I hope that, these ideas kind of carry on and impact your family life in a positive way, your home, where you live. Okay. Create like a heaven on earth within those walls. right? There's, where there's not like strife and, arguments. I did that before too. Regular Joe knows all about arguing with the wife, did it. It wasn't satisfying. Okay. So yeah, these things apply to everything, not just here at pool funding. Pool funding, force all the relationships to scale your way up, millionaire status. From there, you'll never look back as long as those relationships are secured with the proper amount of attention coming from all sides, not just on your side, but their side as well. Right. All right. That's it, guys. I think we can say that that's a good recording today. And then maybe we can have everybody unmute and say bye for now. Go ahead and unmute.
Bye for
For
now.
now.
Hi, everyone.
Bye for
Bye-bye.
now.
See you
Have a
later.
good evening.
Bye, everyone.